Hello and welcome to a slightly different episode of UK Boating. For some of the features today, we're heading away from our usual inland waterways to the sea. It's new territory for me, but I'm really looking forward to finding out more. Here's a look at what's coming up. I meet with Ali Maxwell from the Environment Agency to learn about the River Frome's rehabilitation project, and we take a trip to Poole to visit Sultan's Marina. But before that, I take a cruise on one of the world's first hybrid and solar panelled boats.
Well, today we're on the Green Line Hybrid 33, one of the world's first production full hybrid boats. You've got different modes of operation on the boat. You can just run the boat conventionally as a diesel powered boat, and you start up the diesel engine and run, and off you go with all the 12-volt systems as you would on any conventional boat. Then you have the hybrid side of things, which is an electric motor which is coupled up to a diesel engine, and you have a bank of solar panels on the roof which are taking down the charge to the LiPo batteries. What actually happens here as well, on the boat you have shore power that plugs into the boat to run all your 240 domestic supplies on the boat, like any conventional boat. But the other side to it is, on this boat you can actually run all the domestic 240 volt appliances through the LiPo batteries through an inverter. So in effect the boat is self-sufficient, so if you're out anywhere you don't need a generator running, you do not need shore power plugged in, and you have 12 volt systems and 240 volt systems running on the boat all the time. Also, if the voltage on the batteries are dropping off, you've got the daylight energy that's putting down the power onto the solar panels. If you were to run the batteries down very low, then what you can do is start up the diesel engine, and the hybrid motor then turns into a generator, and as the hybrid motor is spinning, that is also putting a charge back into the batteries, and will charge the batteries in up to about 2 hours from fully discharged. If the boat was left with fully flat batteries, with just the solar power going down on the charge, it would take roughly about 2 days to charge the batteries up from flat to fully charged. The reason that hybrids have been invented is really with today's fuel costs climbing, and also with the environment side of things as well. You know, with this, it's actually free power that you're motoring a boat along with, up against using diesel engines, conventional diesel engines. With the actual boat running on hybrid just alone, running on the electric motor, with a fully charged lithium battery, the boat can run up to 4 hours fully on full power. If you back the power down, then and you equal the power that you're taking down from the solar power to the power that you're using through the hybrid electric motor, the boat will run indefinitely during daylight at speeds up to 2 to 3 knots. So far the boat's been in production for about 2 years, and so far there's 200 boats that have been sold from the factory, which are out being run all across the world, and a big percentage of those are hybrid boats. The partnership behind the boat are the major part of the Seaway Group in the manufacturing of the boat. Also J&J, who designed the hull of the boat. It's known as super displacement. It's very, very different to any other hull that's out there at the moment. It's the shape of the hull, it has a very sharp cut-in V entry to the hull, and as it goes towards midships it goes off to a rounded keel and then slopes off very gradually towards the back end of the hull, which in effect gives you minimum drag but good wave piercing as well for sea conditions. The different waterways that the boat can go on, so far in the UK we've not really put the boat into the waterway system really, but I can tell you about worldwide. At the moment the #1 dealer for selling the boats was out in Holland, and so far in the first year of production he sold 67 boats that went onto the actual inland waterway, so that's where it's finding its feet really with the solar power as well. The boat is designed though, the hull design is a category B hull, so it is designed for offshore use. All of our customers so far that have purchased the boat in the UK are using them in coastal areas.
So I'm here on this wonderful Green Line Hybrid, but it's getting a little bit choppy and a little bit wet outside, so let's head in, which looks really warm and cosy. First off, we come into the kitchen, which looks really well finished. It's got loads of storage, which is ideal. There's a couple of hobs. I can see a great looking cooker, which I know is a microwave too, so those quick and easy bowls of soup will be ideal. Everything else you need, sinks, drawers, all of that, and I'm really impressed that they've managed to fit in a full-size fridge and freezer, and it doesn't even look like an eyesore in here. It fits perfectly and is going to be really, really handy. As we come on through, we've got the seating and the eating area. A great table here. This bit pulls out so you can fit loads of people around for all those yummy wine and cheese evenings and anything else that you might want to enjoy here. This also turns into another bed, so you can actually sleep 4 in total, which is great. And you've got really comfy seats. They're ideal here. You can watch the scenery passing by while you've got someone piloting for you, or whatever you want to just enjoy, relax and sit here. There's also a stereo, so that's really great. So as we come through the boat, we've got loads more storage here, which is fantastic. And then we've got a few gauges here. It doesn't look too complicated, but I think it'd be helpful if Martin could just take us through what we're looking at.
Certainly.
What have we got, Martin?
Well, we've got the engine instrumentation, we have the water tank, okay, we have the fuel gauge,
Yeah.
The voltmeter. Over here we also have the rev counter,
Yeah.
and your temperature gauge and the oil pressure as well within the engine.
Fantastic, and I can see the good old bow thruster there, which I'm a huge fan of.
Yeah. Yeah, quite needed in tight marinas, you know, it works well. So
Excellent. And what's here is this is what I can look at for the battery power.
absolutely, yeah. What we've got, I'll demonstrate to you now, just turning it into electric. Okay, we simply turn the engine off, flicker over to electric, turn the ignition on again, and push forward on the throttle. Now we're just being powered by the lithium polymer batteries.
So actually it's really user friendly.
Absolutely, very, very, very easy to use. You know, you literally just turn the ignition off, back on, and drop the throttle, and off you go.
Thanks for that, Martin.
No problem at all.
All right, moving on through the boat, I'll go down a couple of steps. And then we come to this wonderful wardrobe space, which is enough space for even all my shoes, which is great. Then a nice little wet room here. So you've got the loo in here and a shower and a sink and even more storage. So actually you've got wardrobes and cupboards and space under the seats as well, which is fantastic. And then on through into the last part of the boat, which is your bedroom. And in here you can have it as 2 singles, or it's just a scissor bed which pulls together into a double. And again, all the way round you can see loads of little cubby holes, so you can store absolutely anything you might need. It's really comfortable, and actually a long weekend or a couple of weeks on this boat with friends, enjoying the music from the stereo, sitting down having a nice glass of wine with the silent electric cruising, it's fantastic.
We have found through all of our customers, the people that would buy a hybrid boat have been people that are concerned about fuel costs. Also, we've found a lot of our customers have owned yachts in the past, and they want to come down to something like this, you know, which is not a fast cruiser, but you know, it's very manageable and works very well for those guys. It's very different to what people have had in the past because it's new technologies. So the handover of the boat is very important, and we like to spend quite a bit of time with people going through the system so they understand exactly how the systems work. But once they get it, after spending about an hour with us, you can pick it up pretty quickly. The cost of the boat varies on specification. You can buy the boat as a conventional diesel-powered boat only with a 60 horsepower diesel, and then upgrade to a 150, and then add the hybrid systems onto it. As a basic boat, you'd be looking at about £110,000 ex VAT, and for a fully spec boat with all the hybrid systems, about £158,000 ex VAT. The way the systems work, and when people have actually been out on the boat and seen the way that the systems work with the hybrid, I'm sure it's worthwhile for the extra cost. The specification of the boat and the layout of interior, it's a very clever design. For a 33-foot boat, it gives you so much space on board, especially in the cockpit area where the back door drops down and it makes into a huge cockpit area for a 33-foot boat. The living accommodation on here is great, and when you've actually been on the boat, which I have for a weekend, spending time, you really get used to how they've laid it out, and it does work very well. I think with the styling of the boat, the layout of the boat, all the features on the boat, I think it just ticks every box, and especially, like I say, on the economy side of things, with the fuel going the way it is. And the nice thing is, later on when we're cruising in the harbour, we'll put it in electric mode and it's silent cruising. And like I say, if you can cruise free of charge forever, if you back down that throttle, it's fantastic.
Well, that's it for part 1, but don't go anywhere, because after the break we'll be visiting Sultan's Marina and learning more about the River Frome's rehabilitation plan.